Of course, in 2015, 4,000 deaths there. People dying in the Aegean still. And people have been tortured and dying and sold as slaves in Libya, right? All because the EU will not create safe passages for those people to come and claim asylum in the EU. And this place is part of that deterrent system, yeah? The Labour government way back in 2003 built Yarlswood, yeah? It was the biggest detention centre in Europe then, and developed a whole system of detention centres. And detention centres are about frightening people. They're about saying, and it's a ludicrous kind of notion, but the government believes that if they have really bad detention centres, yeah, that people will decide not to come to the UK to claim asylum. Now there's loads of research, you want to quote it, which says that's totally nonsense. You know, people don't come, you know, by hearing about what the UK detention system is like. But they believe it. And of course now we've got the hostile environment as well as this deterrent system. So I think we ought to put this place in context, yeah? It looks like a prison, yeah, because it's a detention centre. It's not a prison, they'll say. The Home Office will say, no, it's not a detention centre. It's just to detain people, you know, on a limited basis before we deport them. The other connection I'd like to draw with the 39 deaths in the container is the way that children, believe it or not, children have been detained in here. In 2016, 4 children were detained in here. 3 of them, and we listen to this, while they were assessed by local social services to determine whether they really were children, right? So lock them up in Morton Hall in the meantime. But one particular child at that time, this is a connection with the 39, was a young Vietnamese guy, right? Who'd been trafficked here and worked, I think, in a cannabis farm or something. He was arrested and locked up in prison for a while, Youth Offenders Institute. Then he was transferred here. While he was here, he was raped in his room, right, by another of the inmates. The people here did nothing, right? They didn't investigate that rape. Those of the police weren't brought in to investigate at all. And he remained in that situation with the guy who raped him and whatever for another 6 months after that. Right? It's taken a long time, but just a few months ago he was given £85,000 by the Home Office, you know, compensating for unlawful detention and, you know, neglect. So this is the sort of place this is, yeah? And, you know, remember the deaths of the Vietnamese, we think they're Vietnamese anyway, in the container, but just think about that young Vietnamese guy as well. Just 1 or 2 other points. I mean, this horror continues. I mean, if you look at the statistics, obviously in 1917 there were more deaths in detention centres than any other year, and 4 of them were in here. And I think other speakers will talk a bit more about the people who died. But one of them who died in 2017, his inquest was a couple of weeks ago, right? They're taking over 2 years to have inquests to investigate the deaths in this place. I'd also like to point out that it's still going on. If you look at the stats in terms of self-harm, suicide attempts, etc. Last year this was in the whole country the 3rd worst. This year it was the 2nd worst, right, in terms of number of people self-harming or trying to commit suicide. Their own independent monitoring board here pointed out that last year there was a big increase in self-harm, yeah, where medical attention was needed, at a time when the numbers in here were falling, right? So, and those are statistics from this year, from July 2019. So there are people in there, you know, who suffered from self-harm, suicide, and at this moment. And the regime in here is so neglectful that very rarely are those people put on proper suicide watch or monitored or given the kind of mental health care that people need. It's a pretty grim place, is it? It looks grim, but it really is a grim place in terms of what happened. But just to turn to a rather brighter kind of picture of the whole campaign thing in these places. I mean, there are now only 7 detention centres. There were 10 only a couple of years ago. We are closing them down, all right, very slowly. I mean, Campsfield closed this year. They closed or transferred people to Verne and 1 or 2 more. So these sorts of gatherings, these sorts of campaigns do work, folks. So it's important that we mark those kind of victories. The final point I want to make, this place is actually on contract from the prison service, but the rest of the detention centres are privately managed by huge security companies or whatever. G4S, who say they're getting out of this business soon, still will have the health care. I'll put that in big inverted commas, the health care at Yarlswood, right? Serco, you run Yarlswood. Mighty just had one of the biggest contracts in the history of detention centres, run Harmansworth and the other one at Heathrow. Yeah? And the profits these people make are enormous, and the contracts are enormous. And just look at my notes, it's worth just quoting, I think. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, G4S, for instance, made a 20% profit at Brook House. That was the place where they were exposed for violence and abuse of people in Brook House, 20%. And nearby Tinsley House, this is 2016, nearby Tinsley House, will make a profit of 41%, right? 41% on the misery of people in there. Yarlswood Serco have a contract for 69 million for Yarlswood, yeah? The GEO Group manages Dungavel. The GEO Group are the largest private prison and detention centre kind of company in the US. GEO gave money for Trump's election campaign. They're very close to it, and he's rewarded them by bringing more private prison, more private detention centres. And that's the case here. There's a kind of link between these multinational corporations and their abuse of people and the Home Office and our government. But as I say, we are closing them down bit by bit, brick by brick, and let's continue. And it's great to see so many people here today. Thank you.
Thank you from Simon. Thank you very much. Before we have the next speaker.